All right, so welcome to episode two. We're back with Fitness by Mamoun, um, coach and fitness specialist. His Instagram is Fitness by Mamoun. And we're here with episode two, back from our last episode, episode one, where we talked a little bit about plateaus, muscle gains, and weight loss, and much more interesting topics. And we're here now. How are you feeling, Mamoun?
Very good, man. Super good. The first episode was nice. We had a really good conversation. So yeah, we're back for episode two, and you can go ahead and introduce the topic, and we can jump right into it.
Yeah, I just got to say I love the background that you have this time around.
Yeah,
Um,
we're
yeah,
keen.
the books as well. So basically, the topic for
Maybe
today,
one day we'll get.
we get some what?
Maybe one day we'll be sponsored by My Protein, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah, why not? So the topic for today is why every young man should train. Um, and basically, we're just going to share our journeys a little bit, what our training has been like over the past 10 years or so, and encourage people to train as well, and why they should train. So, you want to start?
Sure. Maybe we can format it in this way. Maybe we can share a little bit of our experience, our individual experiences with training, and then we can each share like three things, three most valuable things that training has brought into our lives. That
Okay.
way, I think that way the viewer can get something tangible, like Marco has been training for X amount of years, and these are the three principal lessons he's learned, and these are the three principal things of value that have been added into his life, and vice versa for Mamoon. So I think that could be a good format. Um, Either you start or I start as you like.
Go for it. Go ahead.
You want me to start? Okay, so maybe just a little background in terms of like my training and everything. I've always been into sports. I've always loved sports, but I've never been a good athlete growing up. In high school, I played basketball a lot. I was all right. I was decent at basketball. I was decent at football, at multiple different sports, but I was never a good athlete. And that's because I never really trained properly. I always ran and exercised and like every 16, 17-year-old guy, did a bunch of sports with my friends and at school, but I never had any proper training, any proper structure. I never thought about training in a way where I should improve and try to get better. And as time went by, that started becoming more of the case. So at around, I would say the age of like 21, 22, I started taking it a little more serious. And I remember exactly when I got serious about it was in January 2020. It was my 22nd birthday. And I was like, all right, man, I'm 22 now, like, every time your birthday comes around, you start thinking about all these things and like, "Oh, I'm getting older, I'm getting this." I was just 22 at the time. But I thought, okay, I want to be super serious. And I hired a coach. I hired like a really good coach. And it was super expensive for me at that time. I was a student, but I was like, okay, whatever, man. I'm gonna make some sacrifices. I'm gonna stop going out as much. I'm gonna stop eating out. I'm gonna stop doing all these things, and instead, I'm gonna put my money and my effort in this area. And I started training seriously. And I learned a lot with the coach, man. I learned a lot about training, about nutrition, about just the whole discipline of fitness, of weightlifting. And It's been 5 years now. I'm turning 27 in 2 weeks. So it's been exactly 5 years that I've been serious about it. And I've seen tremendous, tremendous, tremendous progress in terms of my fitness, but in terms of so many other things. But maybe I can share three things or three areas that have improved in my life, excluding fitness and aesthetics and how I look, because that has improved a lot. But that's not what I want to focus on personally. I think there are things that are even more important than that. So my three things, and I haven't really thought about this, I'm going to think about it spontaneously, but I think it's my answer would be the same regardless. My answer would always probably be the same. If anybody asks me what are the three or what top three or top five things that you've gained from fitness, I'll probably say the same thing. So number one is just me becoming a better man, for my family, for my friends, being a better example, me just showing up a better version of myself. And I think every man should discover that part of themselves. And I think every man should seek to become that way. I think every young man should seek to be the best young man they can be. Every man should strive to show up for their families in the best way that they can be. And training has given me this a lot, and I'm super, super grateful for it. Just being able to set a good example to my younger brother, being able to go home during vacations, visit my family in Morocco, and see that my family, they're proud of me and they see me like training and taking care of myself and trying to influence my brother in a positive way, trying to influence my friends in a positive way. So this is point number one, just in general, becoming a better version of myself, a better man. And I'm really proud of that. Number two, um, I think it just wakes up something in you, as a man, you have something in you that is super, super, super powerful, and it's your ability to just execute and do things and improve in things, and see yourself getting better and build your confidence through that. And training gives you that tremendously. A lot of guys, 17, 18, 19, our confidence is not we're not really confident. We follow people that we hang out with. We try and look cool. We try and impress girls. We try and impress our friends. And I think that's a result of low confidence. But when you start training, uh, you can really build proper confidence through executing and through seeing yourself becoming better and through lifting heavier weights, running longer, seeing a difference in in your body aesthetically. And I think every young man needs to feel that confidence. And the great way to develop this confidence is through training. So the second point for me would be just in general, building confidence and discovering a part of yourself that is stronger, that is more confident, that is fit, that is healthier. And that's something I value a lot. Um, and number three, the third thing that I've gotten from training, I think it's it translates into strength in other areas of your life. When you become stronger at the gym, when you become stronger physically, when you become stronger mentally, you become stronger in other areas of your life, such as setting boundaries with people, such as developing an ability to say no, not being afraid to tell people no if they ask you to do something that you don't want to do, such as any kind of negotiation, whether it be in school or with your professor in university, when you're having a conversation, you can have uh, a stronger posture, when I say posture, I don't mean physically. I mean, obviously, yes, physically, but just mentally, you can be sharper and you can be more confident in yourself. And that is something I value a lot. Just the ability to be stronger mentally and feel stronger, and as a result, not be afraid to set boundaries with people, not be afraid to say no to people, and not feeling a need to be nice just so people can like you. If you're being nice to people, it's because you're actually nice to people and not because you're thinking in the back of your head, if I'm nice with them, then maybe they will like me. If I do a favor for them, then maybe they'll do a favor for me back. So that's point number three, just developing an ability to be stronger, to be mentally stronger, and ultimately be more confident.
No, that's really interesting. Just to kind of recap your points, first point was setting an example. So I think a lot of what you're saying really has to do with the consistency. Um, setting an example, showing up, you're consistent every day. Other people can follow you. You're more of a man because you have this sort of framework. I mean, you don't move, you don't budge. You show up to the gym. You're not easily sidetracked. And that's the man role and the sort of responsibility and the consistency that comes with the gym that then kind of is part of those traits that we value in men and other things as well. For example, always showing up to work in order to provide, protect for your family, for your loved ones, and that's again somewhere where through repetition you develop this framework or this stability, being a sort of rock. And the second
Mm.
point, you mentioned confidence, right?
Yeah,
And again, through consistency, through showing up every day, you become more confident in yourself. You become, because you prove to yourself that you can show up every day, that you will be in the gym the next day. And that ties back to putting boundaries on other people and being able to say no, because you already say no when you tell your friends, no, I'm not going to drink that tonight. No, I can't hang out with you because I need to go to the gym. And
mm,
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No, I need to go to the gym. No, I need to eat this. No, I can't drink that. No, I need to drink this water. No, and you develop this habit and you see the progress and the results over time that has done for you, because you realize that even if you do say no, ultimately, if it's for the right reason and it's the right person, that person will respect you for it. They're not going
absolutely.
to uh, be angry or hold a grudge, or maybe in the moment they might be a little offended or weirded out, especially in the beginning if you don't know each other so well. But ultimately, I think if it's the right person that you want in your life, they're going to respect you for it, because they're going to say, nice, he shows up to the gym, he goes anyway. And sometimes, if they're not on the same path as you, they might look into themselves and say, wait, why am I not doing that? Why is he strong enough? Why is it that when someone else asks me to go for a drink, but I'm supposed to go to the gym, I go, but he doesn't? And then maybe
Mm,
they might start making a positive change for themselves if that's what they want. Um,
absolutely.
and I do think that with this, because the gym is such a repetitive process and it requires consistency at its core, which is such a, as you mentioned, to sort of break it down, though, it's such an integral part of so many other um, ways of having success in life, that when you train this muscle, you become more confident as a person, because not only are you becoming better at the gym, but you're becoming better at being consistent, better at putting in repetitions, better at postponing short-term um, gain for
Gratification.
longer-term gratification.
Mm,
Um, and these ultimately translate into other areas of your life, because if you want to work well, you have to show up every day. It's not going to be your first day of work. All of a sudden, you're a superstar and you're promoted to CEO of the company. It's going to take years of showing up every day and consistently doing the boring work, the repetitions in the gym, the papers, the work, the communication, and that translates into everything else that you want to be successful at as well. And
absolutely.
so I think that the gym is for many people that go to the gym, and it is for me. It's a pillar that keeps us, let's say, as a man, centered, with that framework, with that frame, that you show up to the gym. You're going to the gym today, and you say it and you do it, and then you're happy about it. You're confident in yourself,
Yeah,
because you did, once again, you prove to yourself that you do what you tell yourself that you're going to do. And that gives you confidence to be able to do other things that you can tell yourself that you're going to do too.
absolutely. Yeah.
I hope that summarizes a little bit what some of the points that you said. And if you disagree with something,
No, 100%, man. Summarizes it super well. I think ultimately I think why every young man, every guy, 16, 17, 18, 20, 22, whatever, even probably older than us, man. I mean, we're still young, 26, 27, we're still super young. But why I really believe that every young man should train is because, as you said, it really helps you discover what you can be. It helps you discover your potential through building confidence, through being consistent, through showing up consistently. And if you're like, because I've been able to show up super consistently for myself for the last 5 years with regards to gym and eating properly and developing myself in this area of my life. If in my job t tomorrow they tell me, Mamoun, we want to promote you to this position that has some similarities with your current position, but has a lot of other differences, I can with confidence say, okay, put me in. I will learn. I will. Okay, there are some things that I'm able to do, but maybe some things I'm not able to do. But because I've proven to myself before that I was able to develop and become better, I can say, okay, if I put in the same amount of dedication and consistency into this, I can live up to the expectations of this new role, of this new job. So that consistency and that discipline and that confidence from training translates into every other area of your life, whether it be your job, whether it be your family, whether it be your relationships with your friends, whether it be whatever, dating, anything. So I really, really believe it, man. Like, I really, really wished that somebody at the age of 16 could fucking grab me from here and say, look, man, get your ass in the gym. Get in the gym and train and find out what you're made of. So if by sharing this message we can encourage some young guy out there to do that, then I think it's great.
Sure, sure. I don't personally regret having not started earlier. I just wonder how much it stunts your growth as well if you're training too early. I don't know, but I think once you've grown your full potential, let's say, then you can definitely go for it in terms of lifting weights. But I really think that it could stunt your growth because your body's growing, and if it's using energy to grow in muscle, maybe it's not growing in height, something like this.
Yeah.
But otherwise, my journey a little bit different. I think I was also always into sports, younger growing up, football, but I was a bit more on and off with the gym. So I did some training when I was really young, like 13, 14, mostly body training, like push-ups and pull-ups. And
Right.
so I think that type of training is fine. It's different than heavy weight lifting. And since I only did it for shorter periods of time, I don't think it really had an impact on me. But I do feel like during those months, I did see that my my growth had slowed down and it picked up again when I stopped. Maybe it's just an impression, but um, then again, I picked it up probably when I was 16, did another 6 months or so. And then when I was 19, picked it up again, went really serious. So there I went 6 to 8 months just from no training to every day push pull legs, and that was the time that really made the difference for me. Because I think if you can do it for 6 months, if you prove to yourself for 6 months that you can do push pull legs every day, no matter what, while doing all of the other things that you have to do in life, you know that you can always do that again. At least
Mm.
for me, that's how it was. And I think 6 months is enough to prove to yourself that you could do it for years as well. Because it's a long enough period of time where you do it for 6 months, you do it for 2 years, you do it for 5 years, you do it for 10 years. I mean, of course, the longer, the harder it is, but you do have that potential, let's say, because you did it before. And that's what happened when I started training again. And I decided a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, probably, that I was really going to make the change again and go for the gym. Unfortunately, during those first 6 months, that I mentioned when I was 19. Then I had an injury, and that really slowed me down. Looking back, injury is also an excuse because you can always do something, you can always keep going, but it is it is tough on a lot of people. I've seen that even extremely disciplined people, they get injuries and it really gets to them because
Yep.
they're frustrating. They're frustrating. They're really frustrating. And anyway, then I picked it up again 2.5 years ago, and I've basically been on push pull legs nonstop. since. Of course, you get sick, you get an injury, you get a little bit slowed down there. I haven't had any major injuries. I just had sort of an inflamed shoulder a couple months ago. That was it, I think. And maybe I got sick a couple of times, and so I took some days off there. But other than that, basically haven't skipped a day in 2.5 years. And that's where I really started seeing the results and really started pushing through barriers. Um, because and going and getting through the frustration. And I think that the emotional challenge is also an interesting one. Of course, the points that you mentioned are really good, and I can't argue with those. But I'll choose some different ones. So dealing with your emotions, because why is it why is it that it's so hard to go to the gym every day? It's not lifting the weights that's so hard. It's not um, eating the food that's so hard. It's not, and I think that the same applies to anything in life. The actual things that you need to do in order to achieve some sort of goal are not the hard part. It's more that inner battle with your mind, those emotions, those thoughts, those feelings, which ultimately are, I'd categorize them all into one group. And that's the real battle because why did you not go to the gym? It's
Yeah.
probably because you felt some kind of way, which made you have some kind of thought, which you rationalized and justified in order to not go to the gym that day. That's
Mm.
ultimately what it came down to. That's the reason why you didn't go to the gym. And that's what's going to stop you in everything else you want to do. Because
Yeah.
there's always going to be that feeling, that thought, that emotion. Because we are, as much as we like to think we're rational, we are extremely emotional beings and we take decisions based off of emotion a
Yeah.
lot more than we'd think. And
Yeah.
if you can find a way to deal with those emotions in order to still push through and get to the gym and push through those frustrations and push through that anger or use it as fuel or find a way to manage those thoughts and emotions in such a way that you can still move forward and keep breaking through plateaus and barriers. That's ultimately the ingredient I think that you need to have success in other areas. Because at some point, you've been working for hours and you look at the clock and you're like, wow, it's late. Oh, I'm tired, you know? And it's the same thing when you, after a long day of work and you have to get to the gym and you're like, well, I'm tired. It's late. I have to eat. I have to sleep. I have work tomorrow. There's a million reasons. There's a million reasons that you can come up with that are going to stop you from going to the gym. A million emotions, a million feelings, a million. And then I guess it's the discipline. I guess it's the way that you deal with those, as I said. And I think that's also a really important aspect of it. Um,
Basically being able to not let your emotions control you and being able to execute regardless of how you feel.
yeah, something like that. Something like that. Because it's not that easy either. Because the sometimes you push aside your emotions, you push them aside, you neglect them, you reject them, but then eventually they catch up to you and start all over again, you know?
Mm.
So it's a way of dealing with them um, that is going to be probably unique and different for each person. That's the beauty of it, is that I can't even say what works for me is going to work for you because your emotions and feelings come from different places and probably, and I don't know how what thoughts you have and how you deal with them. How how can I? I mean, um, but
All right, so that's point number one. Let's try and go to the other 2 points or other two things that training has added to your life that somebody's that's 16 right now, he's listening to this or watching this on YouTube and he's trying to get inspired by our experience. So now he's saying, okay, Marco, since he started training, he's now able to control his thoughts and his emotions, or he's now able to not let himself get controlled by his thoughts and emotions as much. All right, what are the two other things that that he can take from this?
Um, thing is, I'm trying to think of the why, because I think strength is great. It's great to be stronger.
Yeah,
Um,
of course.
but why? Is it the confidence? Because then it's just kind of the same point. Do you feel more
Yeah,
confident? You do feel more confident when you're stronger, but it's also because of that consistency, as you said. You stand up to your boss or your teacher, not stand up to them in a confrontational way, but just in a sort of calm and relaxed and confident way. There's a difference, right? Mm. Being stronger, I think it's also useful for pushing through life in general because things are less difficult, simple things, but they add up. Like, I don't know, cooking food. Your wrist gets tired, you get sweaty, it's hard, you have to stand, I don't know, whatever. So there's struggles to it, right? And if you're stronger, then your wrist is less tired. You can more easily, with less resistance, get through more cooking than a regular person. Let's say you have to travel. Instead of complaining because your luggage is too heavy, and then you arrive at the hotel that you were planning to stay at, all angry about the travel, and oh, it was so hard, and I had to carry my. You just pick up your bags, you go up the stairs, and you don't even care, and then you arrive much better rest. You had a much better experience traveling just because you were stronger. And of course,
you drop the bag off at the hotel. You go to the hotel gym for a quick session. Yeah. First things first.
I think, yeah, it helps you in like everyday life, or there is something there is something underlying subconscious when you're trained that you always get to keep that kind of confidence that, like, I went to the gym today, or I went to the gym this week, or I went to the gym these past years, and you have that in your everyday life.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Well, you
yeah.
have to be stronger as a man as well. Like you have to be strong. Like it's not like being strong means you're aggressive or you're a bad person, you know? But being strong is important if you're a man because when you're strong, first of all, you're not just physically strong, you're also mentally strong because to develop that strength, you have to develop consistency and discipline and sacrifice. And having that physical strength, it allows you to, just stand up straight, speak more confidently, do daily mundane tasks more easily. And it's very important as a man to have that, you know? And yeah, I think it's super, super important, man. I think in our time we see strength as a bad thing, you know? Like no, being strong, like no, being strong is good. It's important. You need to be strong because if you're not strong, if you're weak physically, you're also going to be weak mentally. And if you're weak mentally, you're going to be crushed when you have the slightest challenge or the slightest thing that comes up in your life that's difficult. You're going to feel discouraged and you're not going to be able to face it. But if you're strong, you will be able to face it. So that's a really good point that you shared, man.
Yeah, I see that the meeting is going to end in
Is
like
it?
a minute.
I think it keeps going, even if it says 1 minute. I think it keeps
Okay,
going.
let's see then. We just keep going and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But to bring like a real life example, today, on the way to the gym, this.
I was thinking about all these.
All right, so we got a little bit, we got cut off there, but we're back now. And I think Mamoun had one more point about the benefits of training for.
Yeah, I was talking about how training helps you be so much more efficient in your job, you know? No, but we're talking about like so many different positive aspects, and one of them is when you're a young guy and you train, you feel more confident and you're able to speak more confidently to girls, and that's a very, very important aspect of a young guy's life, you know. A lot of guys are afraid to go on dates, to meet women, to be in social situations. And I think training directly helps you with that. I really believe it. Um, so yeah, I mean, maybe a 16-year-old guy is watching and he takes this final point and he's like, okay, this is why I'm going to start to train, you know? We talked about family, we talked about showing up good for your family, feeling confident, doing good in your job, but they're going to forget all of that stuff and they're going to say, okay, training equals being able to speak to that girl I have a crush on in class. All right, I got to start hitting the gym, you know? So yeah, that is also an important point, but I think that's a whole subject that you can make a full episode on.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah. You want to add one more thing, or you want to wrap it up? What do you want to do, man?
I'm genuinely thinking about it. I mean, because you just tied it all together there. I was like, why else would you trade? What else is there?
I have a good one. I think this one
Oh,
you can resonate.
we didn't
I
really
think this
mention
one you,
health, maybe.
huh?
We didn't really mention good health.
I don't think a 16 or 18-year-old cares about good health, man. Like
Mhm.
we're in the prime of our health. Like that's more something that 50 or 60-year-olds would care about. If I train when I'm young, then when I'm 50, I'll be able to move better. I'll be able to play with my kids and stuff, you know. So personally, I wouldn't share that message with an 18-year-old. I wouldn't say, "Ah, your heart, you're gonna have a healthier heart." You know, he doesn't care. His heart is healthy. He's 18. Um, one thing I think you can resonate with is like you just like feel better when you look better. Like you look better in your clothes, you wear a nice shirt, you wear a suit, you know, like you feel more confident. And I think that's really, really nice. I think
You're
that's a
right.
really, really good reason why.
You're right. You're totally right, actually. That's a big one that I was neglecting. It also ties back to the confidence and um, your posture, like you mentioned, right? How you stand up, for yourself, how you speak, even your voice changes, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's true.
100%, man. Like in the summertime, you wear a nice polo, you feel good. You wear nice shirts on a night out with your friends, with your family, you feel good, you know?
I
And that's
remember
something that has a lot of value.
it is. I remember when I was younger, I wanted to fill out my shirts. I had my shirt that was hanging, and it wasn't like my chest was filling the shirt and you could see my chest coming out of my shirt or my back or my arms are like coming out of my shirt. I've got the opposite problem now where I can't find sizes. I genuinely,
That's why you should train.
it's
That's
a
why you
real
should train.
problem. It's actually a real problem. I'm XXXXL on some in some stores. I genuinely can't
Oh,
find
damn.
size. I genuinely can't find size.
But you also have really broad shoulders, man.
Yeah,
Like you have huge shoulders, bro.
yeah, that's the main problem. And then the sleeves come up all the way here. I can't find t-shirts, you know. I can't,
Yeah.
I just don't have my size. It doesn't exist, like, basically.
It's not your size, it's your shape that doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's a shape.
It's like this, you know, like
Right,
it's
right. Yeah, because it's always a problem in the shoulders. I'm wearing shirts that are for people that are like this, like a huge
exactly,
stomach, but
exactly.
just because of the shoulders. It's just the shoulders. And they don't
Yeah.
rip, clothes rip,
Look at you being all humble, huh?
it's not a good thing, but I guess I guess some people want that. Actually, I didn't fit in the metal detector in the airport in Istanbul. They told me I had to go walk sideways through the
Oh,
metal
wow.
because
Nice.
because it was beeping when I walked through.
Nice,
Well,
bro. You must have been smiling the whole time.
I loved it. Someone behind me was laughing so hard. I thought it was so funny. Best part of the trip.
Awesome, bro. Cool. All right, man. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say
Let's go.
otherwise talk about the weights, but I'll stop the
What's
recording
that?